recorded?
Yes.
Okay, good. The timing of this meeting was arranged because the mayor requested that we hear information about the service department vehicle needs and problems that may occur. So in preparation for this meeting, we received a report which has some information, and I'll have some questions. Let me just talk a little bit about, to start the meeting, about the 2015 financial status. I just spoke with Rita the other day, not Rita Darrow, but the income tax agency, and I asked them what their projection was for the income tax collections for this year. And they're actually projecting, I had project somewhere between 8.1 and 8.2 million. They were projecting at 8.3 million. And so that means that we're above the number that was originally used when we constructed the budget. So that's a good news thing, because we wouldn't want to have overestimated and then try to climb out of that problem. So just as a general point, we appear to be continuing from 2013 forward to be above $8 million, which is, last year it was 8.568 and the previous year was 8.607 million. The median for our income tax collections between 2005 and 2015 is 7 million. So we're well above that number, and that means that, as we can see in the general fund unencumbered balance, we did receive, and thank you, Mayor, for having Patty provide the financial reports in a timely manner. We have the financial reports through July, and we're showing the general fund unencumbered balance at 3.148 million. And I think that's generally good news. The 401 capital funds are showing a bit of an offset, but I think that's primarily because all of the funds transfers haven't occurred that were originally planned at the end of the year, and they normally don't. They go by quarters. So we'll look into that a little bit, but I think we're not in any difficulty there. I would like to say there are some areas here where we may want to find out status tomorrow, so I just want to make a notation about that. One of the areas is just in the 401 area. From a quick review of the 401 expenditures, it appears that we don't have a contract yet on the City Hall roof, although that's been appropriated for the year, and the projected amount there was $200,000. And we don't appear to have a contract or an engineering plan yet on the Our Lady of Guadalupe. So that'll be a question tomorrow night. And it's unclear, but it doesn't appear that we do have anything yet on the repair of Sioux Lane. So if we could...
Today.
I'm sorry?
Today.
Today?
Today they finished the drawings and have started going out for...
Okay. Okay, so that would account for that one. So I'd like to send generally the same information about those items, because those are big ticket items that we didn't have information about.
So be a recap on the amount for OLG.
That was 230.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
And we had combined into the number, because we allocated appropriated 260. We had combined in
Right.
money for the Sioux Lane potential problem with Sioux Lane culvert, which
Right.
became reality.
That was for the engineering.
Yes, right. So we need to just have a good look at that. There is, I did see there are some numbers today on the washout of Northern Freeway Drive. It was 83,000, if I saw that number correctly, was I right? That seems, this is a hole in the road. I need to go look at this, because I'm not quite sure
It's a big hole in the road. so-
Must be a heck of a...
It's not just the factor of being a hole, this is a complete rebuild with finger drains, what they're called, where they're stone trenches under the road to allow water to pass through to either side, instead of sitting under the road, which has caused this problem. They have to- it's a complete
Okay.
thing over the road.
Since that road had already, within the last decade, been completely redone, it's sort of shocking to me that we had $83,000 bill to do something here. So we'll discuss that more, but just wanted to mention that. Now, with regard to the preparation for the 2016, FY 2016 budget, I'm trying to get us moved forward on, particularly on developing a 5-year capital plan, and I provided a draft. This is just a rough draft at this point. I'm going to be asking to work with the department heads to prioritize.
Was this put together with the department heads? or is this just
No,
yours?
what I did is I just put together a draft with
so
the
this is
information,
your-
with the, if I may finish, with the information of what has been submitted previously in 2014 and 2015 for requests that were not honored, that kind of thing. And I started with that, and then I expanded it a bit to look at areas that I thought were important to consider. Just a couple of, I'm just going to talk about this very briefly so that we can get to the service department issues. But the purpose of this will be to have a running look at our capital needs over the next 5 years. With each year annually, we're going to be updating it. So we'll be adding another year and adjusting any numbers based on what we have done and what we haven't done, or any new and emergent issues. In going to training on this topic at local government official training, there was a very good and very extensive briefing on ORC 570513, which are capital project funds, which can be allocated actually up to a 10-year period, which we, at this point, I don't think we're quite ready to go there. But you can allocate them and appropriate them annually into this fund, feeding your capital needs. They don't have to be expended during the year. But the one thing that's good about this type of fund is if you do get an emergency like we did back in 09 and 010, you can move money out of that fund back into general fund, which is not true of the other funds that we have appropriated. So that would be extremely important, and it'd also be a good place to then lay out where we are going to be from a capital standpoint. I just briefly mentioned that our median between 2005 and 2015 was 7 million, but in the last 3 years, we're definitely, I believe, perhaps partly due to the acquisition of TPC Wire and Guardian Building Products into the old Graco building. I think we've seen a boost in our net profits tax, which has helped us. Plus, of course, we've had the recovery from the depths of the recession, which has also helped. When we're looking at the total picture here, I would say financially, we should be in reasonable shape to continue to invest in our roads and in our stormwater issues and in the maintenance of our city properties and the vehicles that are needed by our employees to be able to provide the services that we need. A couple of things of note that are of interest here. We have a debt coming off of our city that is very significant at the end of 2016. Our debt load, and there is a graph in here that shows this, is currently a little above 1.5 million. And at the end of next year, we will have paid off City Hall bond debt, and we will have paid off the rec center bond debt. So that'll give us about $1 million right there that will be available if we decide we are going to replace our income tax levy that currently supports the rec center bond and other issues at rec center with a 0.25% capital. So we would maintain our 2% income tax, but we'd have a 12.5% dedicated to capital needs, which is what was originally anticipated and I think hasn't happened. So that's something we'll have to consider as we go along in the coming year. Probably by sometime in 2016, we should be looking at replacement levy if that's the direction we're going to go. And as I say, there's also a relief that's just coming from not having to pay all of that money out to bonds for the rec center and for the city hall. So those are probably some good news areas that would help us with our capital needs. When we look at what our needs are, we have a number of areas. I've got a spreadsheet here which is just based on review of what we've asked for in the past and some of the execution that we've had that is attached to our capital plan. But I want to be working with the department heads to kind of lay out a better and more refined view of that. And again, this would be part of, we would have an FY 2016 budget, but it would also have an exploded out view for a 5-year capital plan. I think we can do that. I am going to be asking to work with the department heads to look at their longer term issues and to see where they would prioritize things, and then we can bring it into a broader discussion inside of the finance committee about how each of us view that situation. So this is just the beginning. There's more to come. But I think generally there's good news, and we need to just make sure that we don't lapse back into haphazard planning for capital, because it's very important, obviously, that we have a very clear picture of what we're going to be expending over the next several years, so that we don't have any difficulty with getting to the objectives of our residents, which is to have a city that's functioning well and employees that are in good condition. There is one thing in here that I've introduced in the 5-year capital plan, which has not been introduced other than by me at this point, and that is that I believe that we need to consolidate the service department into one location. With the exception of the parks, we will have to maintain the parks area with some equipment at the parks in those barns and so forth. But I've been working on trying to get an estimate, and I've been told today that there's some possibility that by tomorrow or Friday I will get an estimate for what the cost might be in association with that.
And where are you getting these estimates from, and where are you thinking of locating it?
ODOT, which is building some buildings for various activities that involve this.
So you're
type.
looking at ODOT to build us a building?
No, I'm looking at how they estimate it. Okay.
So where would you,
Well, we have
thinking
to-
of doing this, where would you think to do it? Do we have to purchase property, and why would you look at ODOT?
Okay,
We're
well,
different entities, so
Well,
I'm just trying to understand
the
where
same.
you put it.
Okay, let's start that process by saying, I think we should consider consolidating at 9,000 Valley View, because we have the most property there. Second, that would require us, wouldn't require us, but we need to probably then eliminate the Twinsburg property that we currently have through a sale. I don't think we can eliminate the barns at the Parks property for a number of reasons, but we have to consider what to do about the building out front. The Valley View, the current garage at Valley View has got a number of problems. Every one of our buildings has leaking problems, and the roofs are not sound. There's problems with them, so we need to just think in terms of a longer-term plan to replace that, to be more efficient, in my opinion, in bringing the service department staff together in one location.
And you talked to John about that?
I did.
Is he in
Yes, I
charge?
did. Mhm.
Because you
And
know the building in
I actually talked to-
Twinsburg was ODOT's.
yes, I do.
Okay, we bought that from them
I-
because it matched exactly what we needed. Wasn't it ODOT?
It was actually Summit County, I believe,
But it was used for the exact same purpose.
Or at any rate,
It has fueling facilities.
let me just put it this
It's
way.
next to railroad tracks where nobody else wants to build.
We are at the point where there are problems that have to be addressed in these buildings. There's leaking everywhere that is, and potentially black mold in one or two of these buildings. It's just that it's not a good idea to subject any of our employees to these conditions, in my opinion. So that, we need to get started on some way of managing and assessing it. The reason I wanted to ODOT is they build the type of buildings that involve service. And, you know, it's not that I won't go to other places, I will, it's just beginning at this point. Would like to get some estimates, and then we can then look at how to fund it going longer out.
Can I suggest something, given that I kind of
Yeah.
work in the field?
Yes,
You know, one of the things I'm working on right now is the exact same thing, and I can tell you
Okay.
that generally when you start this process, you have engineers involved to assess what your needs are and the properties that you currently have. So
Right.
if we're gonna address this the appropriate way, I think we need engineering come in, take a look at the number of employees we have, the number of vehicles we have, what we need to do to store them, mechanics bays, wash bays, the whole 9 yards, to properly get an idea of what that's gonna cost to do that. So that may be the more appropriate than just going and looking, because I've seen those too, and I know exactly what you're referring to. But
okay.
until they assess it and give you an idea of what they think it would cost to put up an appropriate thing for those guys to work within, it's hard to speculate. So
Well, I agree with that as a final number. We would need to know that, and I certainly agree with your assessment of that. What I'm trying to do right now is to look at the total picture in terms of ballpark funding that might be needed. That's
part of their process too. That's why I was alluding
Right.
to, is that they'll be able to look at the other properties if they feel that one could be consolidated based on the needs of an assessment. When they talk to the guys and what we feel and they feel they need to have, they can tell you, you know, we feel you can sell this property for X number of dollars. This property would be appropriate for, you know, what you're looking for, and this is what it would cost to put that building up.
Yes, I know, and those
And who's that?
are good for
Who
final
utilizes
numbers.
to do that?
An engineering firm.
Okay.
We'll need someone who, if we're just talking now about approximating and looking at numbers. You know, is it going to be $10 million, or is it going to be $5 million or $1 million? What is the ballpark number we're looking at?
Because if it's our guesstimate, we don't know, we're not the experts, so.
Well, I realize-
It'd be better to have someone who.
I'm not
Because I
against-
think you're talking about, maybe one building is accurate, incorrect to use. Maybe it needs to be two, you don't know based on what the departments do, where they do, where they need to be located. So that's why I think if you have an expert do it, it's, and none of us at this table, other than you have more experience in that.
We also look at,
I
too,
do,
you know,
that's for sure.
salt usage and centralized, you know, location for when the guys go out to plow in the winter. It all kind of plays into that, so it's pretty
Yeah.
comprehensive what they come up with when they do that. So it's something to consider, that if we're really going to go down that road for the service department, then we ought to consult the engineers with that.
Yeah, well, no question. I'm not even suggesting you're not. I'm just talking about a potential number to start plugging in for our longer-term capital plan.
Right.
That's all.
Well, that's what they'll give us.
Yeah, and I know they will, but we'll have a,
The
we'll
cost
have
of
a
doing that's very
fairly,
nominal. It's
Yeah.
not going to cost a ton of money to get that report.
I'm sure it'll be fine, and we will have to do that, or we can't actually get into the process of doing it. I'm just talking about doing an estimate at this point in terms of numbers.
But who's
That's a
doing the
different-
estimation? Because if you're looking at a long-range plan, part of this is good numbers. We've done a long-range plan every year that I was on council. We had a 5-year plan. I don't know what happened.
It
In
disappeared.
14, there wasn't one done.
No,
So
no,
now
ma'am.
we're
There was
looking at
none
putting
done
it back
since
together.
08.
But, so when you're putting that together, you're supposed to have a good estimate. Who's going to give us the good estimate?
Well, I
Is it a
will,
pie in the sky that I get it from somebody who knows what they do? Or is it someone that really looks at the environment? So you want to have a 5-year plan that's realistic, not
Okay.
somebody's thought.
well, we are going to have input from the department heads on the basic issues inside the city. And I'm not suggesting that we won't need to have somebody do an expert estimate, as our friend Nick is saying. So let's, that is all I really wanted to say about the 5-year plan draft at this point, and we're moving towards now what the service department's issues are in terms of the current and ongoing need for vehicles, and so if somebody wants to take the lead.
Well,
Mayor, do you
before
want
we
to
do
do
that, I
that?
thought this was going to be a finance meeting, so I have one question. Workman's comp, Mayor, is that only paid quarterly? Workman's
Oh, God,
comp
I
is,
can't-
the
I
the
can't
numbers that I
remember.
look at are hitting 85 to 90%, and we're in August. Do we have more payouts to go? If we do, we don't have enough money in there. Insurance and bonding was 91%. Emergency engineering was 100%. The police had quite a few, one of which I kind of chuckle at because I guess this means we don't feed anybody, but the meals in the jails are at 87%. We still got a bunch. Lease communications, 96%. I don't know what the union contract is, but it's 100. Senior citizen refuse at 96%. And our litter grant, we're over. So, you know, when I look at the monthly report, I get really nervous of the fact that this line item budget, did we allocate appropriately? Because that was end of July. I should be sitting in the 60s.
It should be 58% at the end of July.
Right.
In
I'm sitting at
14 to
90.
15.
Well, in terms of workman's comp,
They were funded inappropriately.
they're not funded inappropriately for the most part. There could be adjustments, but things like workers' comp are not
I'm just
paid
wondering if we cut, where we
monthly.
shouldn't have cut. So we passed the budget. I don't remember what the budget was going into latter this year. So I'd like to see 14s versus 15
Okay,
in those particular areas where they were and where they are now.
I can tell you they weren't lower
We
this
do
year.
have
than last year.
obligations
Now,
on
you're taking
books
care of the
for
computer
tomorrow.
maintenance, I saw tomorrow's.
Yeah.
And I saw that we have a couple that we're caring for. But this is, what I do is I
Well, of
went through
course.
every line item, it's like workman's comp across the board. It's not just one department that we had to do a payout. So, and if you could find out.
Well, I did check on that earlier,
Monthly,
Jan.
well, I'm asking the mayor, if you
Okay.
could check.
You surely
Yeah,
can.
workman's comp I have written down. Is there anything else out of that
Yeah, I'll
list?
give the little list, because I
Okay,
was like,
good.
and we may need to put some money in the meals for the
What?
jail.
Because
we're at 87%.
the police chief asks for it.
Yes, why don't we do that? Let's,
Why do we go to 100%? Our estimate should be that you give your kid $10 and hope that they only spend $9.50, not you give them $8 and they're out doing nothing. I mean, we've always budgeted to the need, not to, we wait till you spend it.
well, let's
You
move.
can't
He
spend
hasn't
it.
come back to ask for it, it must be within his need, right?
Right. Now, most of the salaries, full-time salaries appear to be in the ballpark of 55 to 60%. Service department full-time is over that number. I don't know why that is. You might want to look into that.
What part of the service department? Employees?
I'll give you the-
staff, as far
I
as
will-
office staff?
I'll give you the list.
No, not the office
I have
staff.
a
I'll give
list.
you the list.
Obviously, salaries was not here, because salaries is a set figure.
Well,
It's
you-
kind of
I don't
like
know
when
how
we went
we
through the
did the
uniforms.
approach.
The uniform should have been a set figure, it was, and it went to the PO, even though by contract it's X. So I'll give you this list, if you can just have them check them out.
Sure.
And what do we need to ask for in these? Police lease communications at 96%. Is the bill now paid for the rest of the year? Could be, I don't know.
well,
That's what,
again, the
workman's
police.
comp, though, I have the funny feeling we have at least another check already. Or two. I
Okay.
do new.
I don't believe we do, but please go ahead and check that. Let me try to give you exactly where you need to look there.
And what was the litter grant?
So Lee, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at 201, actually, 101,
Well, the litter grant
201.
was
Salaries are
2,400,
sitting
we
at
spent 34.
66%, basically.
How did we go over?
Yeah, so that's something, you want the number here? 101, 201, 5110, it's the service department. It's sitting at 66%. And just looking at various pieces here, that's the only one that's really out of G. Yeah, so I'm just wondering what's going on, that's all. It's not a crisis. We'll be all right. Okay, moving to then, John, are you the person talking or who's talking?
Myself,
Okay,
we're in conjunction, we put the report together for you to give you some
Okay.
glimpse.
You want to come on up, John? John?
both of you.
Jason, grab on the chair.
You know, we could have just had your signature on the
I want you to pull
You
it
want
out.
better
You
to
pulled the wrong
Well, I
leg.
saw you
Bob?
before you went for the,
Come on.
Come on up,
Put this
Bob.
together.
Alright.
We did this together.
we do this.
Night.
I love the pictures, let me tell you. Thanks for the pictures. Pictures are always. That's right.
This is a glimpse of just our snow equipment right now, with the exception of a couple other equipments that we use for landscaping. At the end of last season, we had 2 more trucks go down that we used in our routes. They are out for the count right now, beyond repair. Getting estimates, if you look in the book for trade-in values, you'll see what they resemble. The 2002 International, 2002? Truck 2.
Yeah, truck number 7.
Or number 7's $9,000 for that truck. And that's complete with plow and all, right?
Yeah, that is a turnkey operation. The only thing is there are continuing issues with that truck. The hoist is leaking on it. The frame assembly underneath it for raising and lowering the dump body is rusted through. I'm afraid of failure. There are multiple check engine lights on the thing.
Bob, I want to stop for just 1 second. Are these what you put together of what we have in our fleet right now?
Yes.
We have 11 big trucks right
Okay,
now.
thank you. Sorry about that.
Of which 4 of them are out of service.
Which ones are out of service besides 7?
Besides 7, truck 2, and truck 5, which was the old truck 1, that's a 1990.
I
I
believe
was going to
these,
say, first of all, truck 7
It's
is,
in front of the red tab. Is
truck
in
7 is
service.
2002.
Yes.
What year is it?
well,
Right. Well,
2015. So we may
There are
have the
proje-
miles on it, but it's.
right, miles do not reflect a municipal
strenuous.
vehicle.
Right.
Years do, but it's a gauge. Normal wear and tear for a truck of this size is roughly 12 years, 10 to 12 years they project. It can't go more, it can go less. Right. We've limped this along. The picture of the instrument cluster on truck 7 is just by turning the key. That is at a standstill, just not moving at all.
That's sitting in the parking lot.
That's what it does at night.
You know
Those-
what?
Why don't you just go through truck by
Want to go
truck?
to truck by truck?
Yeah.
Start right at the beginning.
Truck 1.
Is the other service.
Okay. Currently, okay, we have our truck 1, is our Tandem International. Currently down right now, just minor. Strobe lights aren't working properly, is the only thing needs to be replaced on that. Truck,
Is that
what's it? Is the
electrical
Tandem.
or is that
It's just mounting another light on.
wiring?
There's wiring issues with that
Okay.
truck. Some of it's rather basic, what you'd have to do with it and that, but to go ahead and do a safety check, a CDL pre-trip on the truck, it won't pass right
I
now.
was going to say, if you don't have the music in at night,
Well-
or should not.
You should not.
You shouldn't, right? You shouldn't do it. Truck 2, out of service. This one here has a major electrical malfunction. Salt has gotten into the cab and corroded the fuse panel. It would actually shut off on us at night while driving it. And you'd have to sit and wait, and eventually it would catch itself to turn back on again.
Computer-controlled transmission, it loses its communication, it ceases to function, you stop where the truck decides. I have no idea on the cost of rewiring the whole truck, but every wire in that truck comes back to the fuse box.
And there's a trade-in value in that, as you can see, $5,000 complete at all.
I had an estimate of my car being late because one of those lights came on. It was $1,100 for one light in my car. Turned out it wasn't for work. So when you're talking wire, we're talking major problems.
Truck number 3 is our 2004 Sterling. This was purchased in a similar situation what we're coming to you now, in emergency buy, back in 2005 when this was purchased. Rated at fair condition, because currently right now it is in the mechanic's shop and he is tearing apart the dash because when you step on the brake lights don't light up. Turn signals work and they function off the same bulb, but the brake lights do not, so he's.
What
tracing-
year is truck number 3?
Truck 3 is a 2004.
All right, gotcha.
Which means you can't drive it in.
All right.
On our
It's down,
roads.
right.
Correct.
So it's down too.
Yes, currently down in the shop being worked on right now.
Sure.
But this one is.
This was one that we're relying on as a.
I'm in the process of repairing it right
Yes.
now.
Okay, this is.
So on page 1, we only have number 1, but number 1 doesn't pass safety.
Number one will not pass safety at
So
the
we
present.
really have,
It's not a big issue, but it's gonna be time involved with it.
Right now, out of the whole fleet, just to save it, for right now, we only have 2 trucks that can go on the road right now, safe operating use at this current time.
Truck 4.
Okay, and it, you know, how, one of the questions I will have as you complete this is, which ones are repairable through either being done internally or something, we send them to someplace, I'm assuming.
That's what we were getting at with truck 7. When we get down to it right now, truck 7 has a trade-in value of $9,000. We put $3,500 into the truck to get it to that $9,000 value. The hoist and the framework underneath the dump body the hoist is leaking, and the framework is rotten. To replace that, you're looking at least an additional $6,000, and we haven't addressed any of the wiring issues on the chassis. So we are beyond the value of the truck traded previous.
you know, the frame of the car Toyota crushed and they found the dime size hole. She lost her truck.
So from your
You don't
standpoint,
replace, you crush.
could it be sold for scrap or something?
No, I have a $9,000 trade-in
9,000
value.
for truck 7 was offered.
Okay,
It was
so
offered with the repair?
No.
Not
Sylvia,
without it?
let's stay in order. He's on truck number 4 now.
Yeah,
Go on
we
to
get
truck
seven,
number
yeah,
Okay,
four.
sorry.
all right, that's a
Yeah,
good point,
yeah,
Rita.
our fault.
Let's go to number 4.
Okay, let's go to truck number 4.
Truck 4 is 2005 Sterling, bought in conjunction with truck 3 in 2005 on
Right.
emergency purchase. Right now, this is down because the vent controls in the dash do not work. They're all broken.
Okay.
Everything got destroyed. Plastic broke apart. Bob was able to do a minor repair of it last year to where it will only do half window defrost and half floor heat. So in the winter, does not fully defrost your windshield. That does not pass DOT inspection.
That's illegal.
That is a down vehicle.
Uh-huh.
That's illegal.
Okay,
Right, yes.
so it's currently out of service?
Yes.
Yes.
And how long has it been out of service?
Since
Yeah.
6/15.
It happened this winter. It happened, we took it out of service in February.
Okay, so
of this
it's out
year.
of service and it continues to be in service?
Yes.
Yes.
4 for 4. Okay.
This truck, I estimate to cost at least $4,000.
Right.
Okay,
And that's if we can get the dash for it.
yeah, okay.
Because Sterling no longer exists. And you'd have to go to a junkyard on camp.
Go to a junk shop and they give you a new
Sterling
dash.
is no longer in business.
Your conditions, you know, the
Yes.
out of service fair, but if I'm fair to good, and if I put in the repairs, will increase it to a higher rating, or does it still say fair based upon,
We'll
based
leave
on the
it the
body
way it
and
is.
everything?
The way the body, and we don't have a crystal ball. Anything else can happen to these
Right.
vehicles. That this is the condition they're in.
Right.
Running wise. When these trucks were purchased, these weren't spec'd. They were on the lot, we need to buy them. So they were a little, I don't want to say below our standard, but it's what they had, we had to buy.
So if we put the money into it, the question would be, what's the estimated longevity of that truck being used?
No guarantee written or
Oh,
implied.
no.
I can get the dash to work for you.
Right. I was just
For-
wondering if you had a feel
It's gonna
for
cost.
spending the money, is this X amount of dollars that buys me this many more years before I have to buy a new one? That's the guess.
Once we go through all this, I have a couple of options that I wanted to inform you with.
Now we're going through the trucks, just keep in mind that truck is no longer made, parts are not
Yeah.
available.
Yeah,
So
so
when you
every
talk
problem.
about long range,
So truck number 5 then?
Truck-
Do we want to look at that truck?
Yeah, truck number 5
It speaks for
was
itself.
the,
Yeah.
was the first new truck that came here whenever I first started working here. And it's had its cab replaced one time already. The cab has failed enough now, if the driver's side door opens, there is nothing for the lower driver's side hinge to bolt to.
It's hard to see in the picture, but it is leaning.
The door, if you can see in the picture,
We
the
have it
door is cocked
opened
down.
So this is basically a 25-year-old truck
Yeah.
Yes.
with changes that have been made. through the years.
Mhm.
And it's been out of service since December last year, is that correct?
We used it to pull around one of our leaf machines
Okay.
last leaf season.
Okay.
It did not plow snow last year.
Okay, so
Two
it
years
was,
ago, the year before.
Yes.
okay, got it.
And we cannot put that on the road again.
Certainly.
Last time I drove this truck, I was going down Ledge Road Hill with my head hanging out the window so I can see because the windows didn't defrost.
Does it
So-
have any trade
so-
value or is that a zero?
I would try gov deals if we didn't do anything.
That's
Way
gov
out.
deals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
You might get a couple thousand out of it, maybe on a gov deal.
Parts.
Who would, they would want it for scrap?
Truck number 6, 2013 International. It's in good condition, but currently it's a Concord. Had a hydraulic tank leak on it that they're repairing. And while this is here, I'll let you know now, we're going to experiment, Bob and I, this year with this truck and truck number 8. You have the literature on it. It is a valve control system for the plow that actually you can set the weight, how much weight of the plow actually goes down on the road to save on wear and tear of the plow blades. Maybe this will be a little reduction to help save. Speaking of the city of Lakewood, they had one vehicle that went on one blade for 2 seasons. And was it two
I
winters?
believe it, they might have actually almost got close to 3 seasons out of it. This valve assembly is
Steel,
close to,
running steel.
yeah, it's close to $3,000. Rather than the total weight of the plow being on the cutting edge, approximately 3,000 pounds, the hydraulics counterweight it and remove 2,500 pounds. You only have 500 pounds, which then extends the life of the cutting edge. One of our rubber cutting edges is about $350. The steel is pretty close to that too. About a 3-year period, this pays for itself.
In our rubber blades, we can go to 4 to 5 changes in a season.
So your proposal is to go with that on 2 of them to see if it,
We are doing this on 2 of our trucks. These are already going on, one's going to go on 6 and one on 8 because they handle our mains. Those 2 trucks are on Route 8, 82, Highland. So we want to try them with these trucks.
and truck number
Truck.
7,
7 or?
Truck 7, okay, now we get to truck 7. What do we miss on that one?
it's out of service.
Yeah.
That's
We didn't
it.
miss that.
They're all out of service.
They're-
That's
yeah,
it.
they are.
it's dead.
Yes.
It's in rough shape.
Take the 9,000 and run.
Not coming back.
This is,
From the
Yes.
day the truck was bought in 2002, the electrical problems were with this truck.
so this one, that's not new, it's been a constant problem.
Since the day they,
And this is an international.
Are all the
Yes.
trucks, Bob, are all the trucks actually bought brand new when we get them?
Yes.
And then, is there a warranty on these, or, I mean?
Most of the trucks have a 1-year unlimited mileage on the chassis. The body equipment will have a 2-year warranty on it. That's your warranty, unless you pay for extended.
In your professional opinion, these trucks really only last for a good, what, 7, 8 years, pretty much?
On the one capital improvement that's listed in there,
Uh-huh.
15 years was the projected life of the trucks. We have gone way beyond some of them.
Yeah.
Some of the other trucks have also been lemons that have
Right.
had continuing issues. How long do you continue to throw money at these trucks?
Let me ask you about, is there a limit law for trucks? Because you mentioned
It's
that.
a good question. It really is. It's a good question. We've had some serious issues with some of the other truck. If you go back into some of the maintenance, if we go back into the other trucks, truck 1 spent a lot of the time in the shop last year in tandem. Transmission bell housing broke on it. International has had a problem with that. There was close to at least $10,000 into that truck for the transmission repair.
I see.
And they didn't do a recall.
No, because there's not a problem.
Tell them
It's in
about-
municipalities using steel cutting edges.
Tell them about the warranties and the 3 batteries.
We haven't got to that truck yet. Can I wait till we get to that truck?
Yeah.
Man,
I will do
Truck
that.
number 8.
We're on number 8.
Number 8.
truck 8, 2012 International, no start right now. That Bob is trying to.
There's a definite wiring issue on it. I cannot get the starter to engage. I can actually go underneath and I tried jumping the solenoid to make the starter physically crank. It will not.
Sounds like we need an electrical mechanic.
So let me,
Come on.
when we say good condition, we mean the body is in good
The
condition.
truck is a
It's only
2012.
3 years
And
old.
it's a
yeah.
2012 truck, but it's not operating at this time.
Right.
Correct.
But it is repairable.
It is repairable. I don't know what we have to do to it. What I would like to see done is it's at the Twinsburg yard
Yeah.
right now. I would like to see it towed, which could cost about $150, to have it towed to my garage, so that I can work on it there where all my tools and everything are.
I see.
Is
Okay.
this the one that you were gonna put the balance on?
This is the other truck
Yes.
that we were gonna put the float system on.
Okay.
This is your fourth oldest truck we're talking about right now.
And truck number 9, 2015 Kenworth. This
That's fairly new.
Very side.
went into service December 31st.
Yeah.
3,599 miles.
Uh-huh.
Has been in Kenworth twice for the rear end. Was that 9 or 10?
There was some,
But
each
it was
one of
warranty.
them was
It's
a
all,
bad
it's all been under the warranty. They've both been in both of our Kenworths. With this one right now, Bob has to change the brakes on the truck because the brake pedal was sticking. They have a plunge in the floor. And with our winter's corrosion has already affected that truck. After 7 months, the brake pedal was sticking from where they picked it up at the Kenworth dealer for repair and glazed the rear brakes.
That's not covered under the warranty?
Ignorance is not.
I believe it's a housekeeping clause.
It's, yes.
So the
All right.
question would be, do we, when we're done every night, do we
No.
take care of housekeeping, which would be?
Should we? Or do we?
As,
There's-
as I get told all the time in the winter, have I washed my car to get the salt off of it,
I have asked.
including the underbody, before I put it back in the
And
garage?
the answer is no.
And
Yes,
we don't,
we have
No.
asked to stay, and previous service director would argue with us on that and say it wasn't required.
so we could make that a requirement this year,
Well,
Mayor?
Well, there are some things that they're procrastinating about right now that could save us a lot of money in the long run, like self-lubing systems, washing the trucks. John has a lot of good ideas with Bob as to how
When
we
we
can
talk
do
about
this.
Especially
staying,
inside.
that's called staying after.
It's staying after
Do
hours
that.
on the overtime when they're called in, because
But that's also union, right?
If you are called in and you are working that truck, you should be responsible for
Okay.
that truck. And
You can stay.
when you bring that truck in and you're finished with your assignment for that end of the day, anything you carried into the truck, you should carry out of the truck. You should wipe the truck down. You can maybe even take the opportunity to take the pressure washer and give it kind of a bath.
it's hard in our facility the way it is now. 'Cause
Yeah.
Our 6 trucks go in there, you're rubbing against the other truck trying to spray it, and then you're just spraying yourself, and then, going.
If it's a real cold night, you wash the truck, well, I don't want to get this one dirty, I'll move it outside. It's wet, you go to open the door, it's frozen. So,
So not to go off track, but a wash bay, if we had a new building, would probably be,
absolutely
Oh,
wonderful.
fantastic. We're actually having a demo come out with a pullover spray also to drive on.
Get that digital.
among other things. yeah.
Magic wash.
And
Yeah, can we fit that?
I thought you had mentioned to me that you,
It does the under.
we're on,
It has underneath.
Was it truck 10 with the batteries or truck 9?
No, it's truck 9 with the batteries.
Back to truck 9. Truck 9, there's been an issue, there is an extended warranty on truck 9 and truck 10. They're both the same. We've had an issue with the batteries go bad. They run an AC Delco battery in it. All 3 were supposedly bad. Kenworth, and we argued with them, only warranted 1 battery. It cost us $450 to replace the other 2.
and the reasoning is,
All 3 batteries cannot go bad at the same time.
They will.
even though they did,
Yes.
I see.
My question is, why do we replace 3 batteries if 3 batteries are not bad?
They should have done the one and called it.
They did not replace the batteries with Goodyear batteries. They were Cat-powered batteries from Kenworth that were put in the truck afterwards.
Okay.
They were not real happy with that.
All right, so basically, these are brand-new trucks.
7 months old, December 31st.
It was put into
9
service
months
December 31st.
So even the trucks that are brand-new
Are having issues.
are having issues. All right, move on.
Truck 10, it's 2015. We got it Thanksgiving of last year. It's had a couple of wiring issues on it. There was a body builder problem. It's been addressed. I'd like to see about putting auto loop systems on these 2 trucks also.
put on what, Bob?
An auto lube system. I'd like to, there's a few other trucks, there's like 5 that I want to get done. There's no, that's one of the 2 trucks that we have running right now.
Right. And how much is an auto loop system? Do you
About
have a rough-
$3,200.
Okay, for each, okay, 32.
And the auto loop system, what?
It's in the back, well, it's in the back of this flyer here. The auto loop system, the chassis will grease itself. Everything except rotating shafts.
Truck number 10.
Truck number 10, that's one that we still have.
That's an old Ford tough truck.
That one gave up its dump body for the truck above it.
That's why there's 2 tents.
Yes. Correct. That was the one that was sitting outside here in the parking lot
So
for a while.
That truck is, at this point, 17 years old. It has a dump body removed, and it's being placed on this other truck.
Mhm.
Yes.
And can we get any money from for this
Gov deal.
old Ford?
Gov deal.
That would be a gov deal.
And what exactly?
You don't know.
That's a
Maybe
good
they have to
Set a
question.
minimum amount.
It's
Hope for the
like an
best.
auction.
As an example, truck 2, if we were to trade it in, we have 2 options we'll get to later on here. The truck is either worth $900 without the dump body or $5,000 with the dump
Yes.
body.
The trade-ins.
So you're looking at about $900 is what we get out of the truck.
Just real quick. Nick, the trucks, do you buy the same type truck,
Same one every
same
time.
model,
All
same everything?
international.
I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
9 months.
Yeah, the last 2, 9 and 10 are Kenworths.
9 months.
Which
to get
ones
one.
are better, International or Kenworth? Or
At the
Ford?
present time, I've talked to a couple of the bodybuilding people, Henderson, the ones who set the 2 trucks up, truck 10 and truck 9.
Mhm.
I asked Brian Beery, the salesman for the company, and I said, take away any kind of cost, what chassis would you buy? He recommended Western Star. It's the one they had the fewest problems with, besides Mack, Ford, International, Volvo, any of them.
What's the name of it now?
Western Star.
How does the state threshold on that? You know, we always buy at the state threshold, and the trucks that they have in the cooperative, do they set the standard for that year of what everybody's going? Do you understand my question there?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
What I think is going on with that is the state bid, the state goes out and tells the or the truck companies, I want to buy this many chassis. And what they wind up doing is, I will sell you this many chassis at this kind of price. Whoever winds up getting the best price, and for quite a while, it has been International. Ford was in it for a while, back in '97, when we got a
That's
couple.
what's really, that's the genesis, that's what's really governing everything.
If you want to buy on cost, they're cost only. But the Internationals have been such a headache right now. You would buy the truck cheap to start out with, but the expense to keep the thing running is going to be prohibitive as opposed to buying a higher quality truck to start out with.
Can we spec our quality level?
The only thing is, now, if you spec and you wait for the trucks to come through, the trucks have to be built.
Right, I understand.
On a perfect, everything falling into place the way it's supposed to be, you're looking at 90 to 120 days for chassis delivery. And once then, if the body company is ready to take it, another 90 to 120 days before you get it back from
So it's
them.
good to have a projected plan in future.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, we haven't been afforded that luxury.
I-
Usually we're buying an emergency situation.
Yes.
Whatever they got, we buy.
Yeah, I understand. I'm saying that's what we want to avoid.
And that's what I feel we're in right now, with only 2 trucks at the end of summer running that
Yeah,
you
I
can use.
think-
He should be, right now, we had a plan set this whole year. Right now, he should be focusing on our leaf machines, getting them prepped. He has that Dave Kumar, the cash cow that we've had done so much money into, is putting a fluid coupler back in it to get that back in service and ready for the fall. That's
Okay.
taken away from there now because of all these trucks.
Well, that was a lemon, if nobody knows about it. It was actually, the wrong machine was actually bought, the leaf machine, so. And
Right.
it's turned out to be a lemon on top of it. Am I right, Bob?
Yeah, that one there has had a lot of money
Right,
thrown at
and
it.
basically, you can either keep pouring money into it, or we can trade it in and get something that I think the mechanic should recommend to get.
But
Somebody
I'm-
needs to go that knows how to buy a leaf machine.
But unfortunately, right now at the present time, with the leaf machine, you're in the same situation as you are with these trucks. There
Right.
isn't one sitting on a lot right now that you can go buy.
Okay, well, we get that, but, and,
Last one was truck 12 in
Yes.
Yeah,
2008
but Sylvia,
International.
when the residents are calling us and complaining that the leaves aren't getting picked up, they used to get picked up on a regular basis, but with this new one, we
I know.
did 3 leaf pickups a year
I
at the
know.
end of the
Well,
year.
we may at this-
We only made about 1.5 this last year, and everybody was yelling and screaming at us.
well, yes, they were, I agree. Maybe we, because we are where we are, we may have to do what we did at the very end of the season, and just start it now, have somebody else do it,
Right.
contract it. Anyway,
Don't recommend that.
With the plow trucks, can I ask you a question? I mean, you've got 2 running out of 12, and I'm getting the impression that come winter time, we're not gonna have enough trucks. We're not subbing these trucks out to get fixes, I'm getting the impression there's no way you're gonna be able to get all these corrected.
yes, I have that impression also.
It's,
And I mean, what's that, we have an idea what that potentially costs?
You're gonna be-
One price.
you're gonna be forced into
I get it, believe me, I get it, but
But we can't afford to be without trucks.
But I,
No, yeah, absolutely.
I
And it
wanted
looks
to try
like
to
that's
do
what's gonna
something.
happen.
I've been held back up until this time.
I get it.
But, yeah, we're gonna have to do something. But even to get into the trucks and then, like I said, I have 3 chassis available that I can get, but there's gonna have to be additional monies put into them after that. So,
Well-
And that's even if they don't break down, correct, Bob? During the winter.
yeah,
Well, here's the
Okay, you know,
thing.
You gotta.
The way it stands right now with the
have
trucks that can
problems.
be repaired right now, they're down with some of the minor issues.
Right.
If it were to snow tomorrow and one truck went down, you don't have enough trucks to
No,
do the
I think,
routes.
yeah.
What's
I
a
agree.
fully staffed, busiest shift, day shift for snow right now? How many trucks?
On a route, we have 6 routes, and we run the tandem on heavier events to stay on the mains.
So we're running 6
But
or
we've
7
actually-
trucks.
Usually 6 to 7.
is nice.
We've used the tandem, that's the truck that I drive, have had it in the developments because we've been down trucks. I've had that on every street
Seven
here.
trucks.
When you say you've
There
done
are
that,
6
how many
routes.
years have we done that?
But we have a second
year.
truck. that will
5 years
allow
ago, I
us
plugged
on
the
a
route with
couple
a pickup
different
truck
routes to
because we
help.
didn't have enough plow
Okay.
trucks.
I see. Okay, so we understand the
Yeah.
trucks problem. Can we then move on to whatever else?
understand.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we touch base on something with truck 12, our Low Pro International,
Yeah.
which is also our brine tank for pre-wedding.
I see.
Right.
It's 26,000 miles.
Yeah, this is the second truck that functions in our fleet. Right now, we're discussing, we don't know what we're gonna do as far as the brining is concerned. Because this truck can be used at our rec center and city hall, parking lot areas, helping in the cul-de-sacs. And it serves a better purpose spreading salt for us instead of calling us off our routes to go salt the rec center, the handicap spots. You know, we try to get that hit before they open up, but it's pulling someone off the road to go do it. This came with a salt spreader and plow. We've maybe putting this back together the way it originally came.
Yeah.
We have ideas for pre-wedding, well, it would be in future, as far as V-boxes are concerned for trucks, but, or we're gonna try to mount this onto something else if we can to use it for the brine.
Go get an e-pro, we'll give you one.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
So the truck situation is affected, I only have 2 that are working. I'm hoping to get the others ready before the snow flies. If I don't get them working, what's plan B? There is none?
He did it.
I'm serious.
We haven't even gotten to pickup trucks yet.
Right.
We haven't gotten to
No, there's-
one-ton trucks yet.
there's-
Our fleet is in bad shape.
And so purchasing a new one, I'm hearing is a year cost.
Wait is now, we have 3 available turnkey ready to go, spec to what Bobby
The ones
likes.
that are in the back.
Yes.
Okay.
If further back into the book here, there's 2 Freightliners and a Western Star. Or Kenworth, I'm sorry. Those 3 chassis, I called the dealers yesterday. They're still available. I could have them sitting in the parking lot tomorrow. But I have to get us without snowplows. The cheapest one is $128,000. The other one's $132,000. Those are the extremes. I have to take about $4,200 to $4,500 to change the plow hitch on the front of it to adapt to our style plows. I have to spend about $11,000 per truck for a snowplow. I have to add $3,200 for an auto loop system so the truck can grease itself. I haven't included a 2-way radio yet either in the truck. or GPS.
Hey, Bob, then I have a question for you.
Yes.
So if you purchased a truck for $128,000.
Yes.
We already have plows that we don't have to buy to go on that truck, or we have to buy a?
We have old plows.
Okay, but,
We're still using some plows off of some 1997 trucks that we have.
so how much would a plow?
$11,000.
If you bought, that's a brand new plow that
Yes.
actually goes for that particular truck?
Yes.
Okay, I'm writing this down, so, okay.
Yeah.
It would fit all of our trucks,
All
all
right.
the same
About
style
20
hitches.
All right.
20 more thousand. on top
Actually,
of
I
the
need to
chassis.
spend, if you bought 2 trucks,
Right.
I'd have to spend $30,000 additional to put plows on both trucks.
Okay. So the truck itself is 130,
Yes,
Yeah.
and 30,000 more for
a snowplow and the
plow,
hitch.
the adapter, the lube.
15, you're at
And would that also
18,000.
include your GPS and your,
And a 2-way radio.
yeah.
Some of the 2-way radios, I believe I can move out of the other trucks.
Mhm.
But your worst guess is 30 grand. On top of the chassis, right?
I actually have, there are quotes from Concord
18.
that are in here.
11,000 for a plow,
Right.
3,200 for auto loop system, and
If I-
4,500 for,
Right.
If I buy 2 plows at once, the plows are $10,659.50 each. If not, add $300 each to the plow because they're discounted buying quantity.
So let's get down to the brass tacks here. You're basically saying you need 2 trucks.
yes.
Minimum, 2
We
trucks.
lost 2 that we used in our fleet. The 2 new Kenworths we got last year got us through last winter.
And we're looking at a cost of each truck of what's your estimate total, out the door, equipped?
With everything.
Well,
Don't just say
depends
the
on where you
chassis.
get them from, right?
320,000,
Come on, Greg, what about the
that's what he just said.
I was just putting all the numbers in my head. I wanted to hear somebody else say it.
$155,000 at least.
Yeah, 160
Completely
round number,
Okay, thank you.
320.
Yeah,
That's-
fully equipped,
Okay.
everything else ready to go.
Okay,
That's-
and we get these 2 trucks, and one of the interesting things about this is that the number of trucks that are actually not functioning in August, when they've been down all year, we may need a more aggressive maintenance plan, like to get these jobbed out, to get them fixed once
If
the
we had better
winter's-
equipment, he wouldn't be so busy every day
Well,
on a daily basis.
I
you know?
understand,
I mean,
but we're
it's-
talking, we're already investing, according to him, $320,000 here, so let's talk about.
I
what
haven't
we-
got to the loader yet.
I know, and you haven't talked about that, I understand, you told me about that before, but let's go through the loader and the rest, and then let's talk the numbers.
Loader's a 98 John Deere.
Are we at 45, loader 45?
Yes, number
Okay.
45 is our front end loader, which loads our trucks for salt season.
Which is vital.
Yeah, that's our one and only right there.
John Deere should last a little longer.
The last loader that we had went after 15 years.
And this one is obviously 17 years according to this.
On the capital improvement plan in front of this catalog, it was due for replacement 2013.
Okay,
I can't stress how concerned I am about this machine going down.
this would be worse than anything, right? Because then you
Yes,
can't load the salt.
I don't care how many trucks I have.
If you can't load the salt, it's a problem.
Then you call
I'll put
Mr.
something on too, that
Kowalski,
if
who
that
has
thing
a
goes
whole
down, I
bunch.
can tell
We
you-
did one year.
I can tell you the rental on that's about $5,000 a month.
Talking to the
Unless you know
John,
Mr. Kowalski. Mr. Kowalski will break you a deal.
yes, but that machine that he has is not the best machine to use.
I know, he's got a whole bunch over there though,
Yeah.
I was there.
So if we purchase new, with the trade-in, it's gonna cost us 172, you're saying? Okay.
Yes.
Let's go to the super loader, which
The
is,
Super L,
Super Albeneco.
yeah.
yeah, and that's a 97 machine. And the lifespan has been exercised, and we've had life support on, so now let's go to the next one, the excavator.
What is the question? If the wheel loader,
Yes,
you have one, buy a new with the trade's 172, you still only have one.
correct.
You can buy one.
What would be?
I know that was not the original
Thank-
plan,
thank you.
according to,
But what would be really nice is we have 2 service facilities right now
right,
with 2 salt sheds,
right.
1 loader. In the wintertime, these loaders have a rather smooth tire on them. If we run out of salt at the one salt shed, we have to take that machine down to the other building which we have to do anyway to fuel it. We only have one fuel island, so if the machine is at the 9,000 facility and it's low on fuel, it has to be driven to another facility to be fueled.
Or you have to bring fuel back over. Okay, so let's,
So
talking,
the question I asked, excuse me,
Yes,
you'd love to have two.
I would like
but
to
you
have
can buy
two.
one. Okay.
If you want to keep that machine, it has an $18,000 trade-in value.
Then you'd have two machines.
Yes,
Purchase price.
or you can rent a machine for $5K a month, you said. Hey, listen, if you need a second one, or if you have an emergency, it might be worth doing it at that point.
it was a very nice option to be put out there.
Right.
I'm just looking at the total money going out. But it would be nice to have two machines.
Well, when I say 5K a month, that's if you can get one.
Well, that's gonna be the question.
And I was also told by Murphy Tractor, the John Deere dealer, do not expect to rent a new machine and throw it in salt. They do not want to do that.
Well, we're gonna have to find out if somebody wants to do that or not, because otherwise it's not an option. Okay.
And then number 47 we're on, that's our grade all. That performs our ditch work, all of our stormwater projects, anything we need to lift.
Also, over the years, it's been used to push salt into the salt shed. The boom area on that machine has been filled with salt numerous times. The gap floor is starting to rust out on it.
What was it that they projected with that, when we were using it to push salt with, saving the cost of money to having a conveyor paid for itself over time that they were claiming,
Instead of paying the
instead of
additional
paying
money
additional
to
fee to have it stacked.
have a company pile it.
$1,000. It's $1,000 to convert.
I don't know where they came up with that from, that's when they first purchased this.
Go ahead.
Our skid steer number 49, we're holding on to that one yet. That's in our parks right now. And number 50 is in our service department, Bobcat. 49, we'd like to hold on to and bring it over to the service department. Number 50, the 1995 Bobcat, we don't need it. It's too small for any of our implement attachments that we have for it. Doesn't serve a purpose.
So is it sellable?
Yes.
Which one was it, Bob, that you guys had to, you guys had to rent one to finish up the parks and,
That was a John Deere. That was a John Deere one. That was the number 49. There were some hydraulic cylinder issues with that.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Mhm.
Okay, because when I
Again.
was there for that meeting, that's, okay.
Again, the
It just looks
Bobcat.
different outside instead of inside. And you had it apart, so.
Okay.
So our pavement roller,
And it's back together,
Yes.
and it's working?
Yes.
Okay.
number 38.
And we only rented the other one for 3 days, correct? So
I believe that was a time period.
3 days, yeah.
All right.
Okay, thank
It's
you.
not the skid steer.
Hmm?
What's that?
That's the one that was supposed to be replaced in 2010.
What we'd like to do with the, we're just saying with us keeping number 49 in service and getting rid of number 50, is to actually get a tracked skid steer
So we did it.
for our park system. They don't need to roll around, take it out under the dirt and the tires. They have better function.
So we didn't do 2010, 11, 12, 13.
What do you want to replace?
Five-year plans.
Capital improvements. I was
John, what do you
not-
want to replace
We
50
had all
with?
those plans.
With a tracked skid steer, just like the Deerwood tracks on it for the
All right.
parks. And then if we need for restoration work.
All right, I just didn't catch that, thank
Okay.
you.
So when I look at the replacement plans, we really didn't do, because this was all put together. We haven't done really.
Jeff Jameson put this together. The 2005
Yes.
plan, yes.
But we did do some stuff.
You did do some stuff,
There
yes.
were
Different
economic
things.
problems.
Yeah.
With the downturn in the economy at
And
that
then when the
time.
money came back, no one remembered.
Right.
We try to extend everything past its point, as you can see. Like
Well,
I said, we haven't even
obviously.
discussed pickups because we don't have it here, but that's what we try to, we try to take it beyond.
So this pavement roller that you think is too big,
It is too big, it's
It
an
is
ultra
too
truss.
then what do you want to do with it?
Like to trade it in for a smaller version. We're offered $4,000
Yes.
for that, to get one that we can actually, if we can get implements to do our own hot patching again, like the way we used to. Also for berming, using that.
Who knows hot patching in the group?
We used to do it. Like a contractor, well, we don't have the equipment to do it. You're talking about grind outs, taking grind outs, like having a planer on a skid steer, actually take it out. Now I'm not talking about throwing hot mix on a hole and walking away, actually cutting out sections and replacing. We could do that.
And we could do that with.
Personnel and equipment,
Right.
with proper
Well,
equipment.
okay, let's cut to the chase here, gentlemen. What do you think?
Right, with the roller replacement, we were looking at about $14,500
Okay,
for a roller, which 4,000 could be taken off of on the trade. So you're a little over, almost $11,000. We'll get a brand new vibratory roller that is easily or more easily trailered.
okay,
How much is it about?
Uh,
Did he say 11?
okay.
Just about 11.
All right.
So we're kind of rolling into, we want to be out of here before the cows come home. Do you want to give us the summary now about?
Give us two
what-
trucks or
Give us-
your phones are ringing off the hook.
Yes.
Really.
I mean, it's,
Now, let me ask some questions then. Obviously, then,
Why not go to this list here? He's got a, did you say?
well, in the back has the cost for the plow, all the way in the back,
The quotes,
and the
Okay.
top load system.
right,
32 for this, 42.
Now, Bob,
Yes.
if you guys go with two new trucks, are you gonna go and find out, I mean, like, check out different trucks, you know, and get the pricing and everything and see?
I have.
Okay.
They're in,
I know-
In fact, the page you're on, the picture you have, turn the
Right.
page for the Freightliner. There are two of those available. One was set up by Senweld, one was set up by Henderson. We've used both of the equipment manufacturers there. The difference in the cost is in the hydraulics that are on them. But those are the trucks that I said that would need the additional $4,500 for the hitch, $11,000 for the plow, $3,200 for the outer loop system.
okay.
So our
So,
guesstimate is if we need two, and we add them together, we said it's about 155 for one, we're talking 320.
Yes.
yes, plus, we apparently are concerned that our loader is going to fail and then we will not be able to load salt. So you're talking, now you're talking 500,000.
yes,
So let's just talk about some issues here. How many of these trucks are repairable if we send them out to get repaired? And would we be able, for example, to survive with buying one new truck and a loader?
The one truck that is down right now, truck 4 with the heating and ventilation, would be the one that if I was asked to, if you wanted to put the money into it, it would make some sense to do that.
Okay,
After that, no.
okay,
Truck
so,
number what?
You,
Four.
you had said that some of the trucks that we bought in distressed times had
Yes.
less specs than what we would normally prefer.
Mhm.
The two trucks that you're discussing now, are they at a level of spec that you would normally want, or are we doing the same thing again? We're just buying shit to keep it moving?
We are compromising
How much are we
buying those.
In what ways?
The plow hitch and the plow. Those trucks were set up for a different way of hooking the plow up than what we have used.
But I thought you said you were putting on a different plow and a different plow. My question is not the plow so much, but the specs, the axles, hydraulics, things like that.
The weight of the truck, the horsepower of the truck, the transmission choice is all rather generic and falls in line with what we have right
What
now.
you want, okay?
Yes.
And if you're going to put on your own plows, then you would add plow hitch, they will then be to your specifications and what you want. Except, you're raising your finger, so what's the except?
that fingers was,
Yeah, that truck is set up now, sitting on the lot. I could have saved $5,800, but I don't have the luxury of time right now to get exactly what I want. That's a compromise. That's gonna be 4 to 6 weeks before I can have
What
it pushing
what
the
is the
plow.
what are you not getting that you would want?
I wouldn't have ordered that hitch on the front of the truck to
I
start out.
understand,
out.
it. We're already getting rid of the hitch.
Everything in
I want to
spec
know
is what-
whether or not we buy these trucks, you're getting a truck that you want and you would have gone out and spec, or we buy an interior truck that doesn't meet the specifications with the additional work we're going to do to it. That's all I want to know.
Okay. given a choice, I think I would rather try Western Star than Freightliner. Freightliner,
That's
I
not my
don't think.
question. My question is specs.
Yes, it is comparable to what we have with our other trucks.
Is it the same, it is comparable
Yes,
specs?
it is within our, with what we like to have with our trucks, it is in line with everything else.
Agree with that? In a generic form, yes. If you looked at horsepower, weight carrying, wheelbase, that
Well,
stuff,
let's not look at
yes.
just those, let's just look at if we ordered the truck, if we had the luxury of ordering a truck, we would have a different spec that we were looking
What would
for,
be
is
the
that
different
correct?
specs that we'd be wanting?
You might start dealing with setback axles for turnaround radiuses and
Okay.
cul-de-sacs and
I
stuff.
see.
Right.
All right, which is something that affects the efficiency of plowing, I understand.
Which I think is something we need to put together, because we had this plan, we were gonna replace trucks.
Truck
That we
two
put,
was the only
knowing
one
that it
said
takes a year and a half.
Mhm.
That you would put together, okay, for the next one, which I have time, I don't have time right now.
You don't have
Don't
Right,
time.
so when I have the luxury of time, here's what I really want in the specs. Such as the new, because so much changes every year now,
No.
the technology.
The Kenworth that's here right now is identical to what we have already with 9 and 10.
Yes.
It is the same truck.
So do you plan going forward to continue with Kenworths to keep it a little consistent for obviously your sake and repairs? Will that make your life a little easier?
The only problem is there's only one Kenworth available. It would be nice to have the fleet, but due to the changes in the state bid process and that with the chassis available, we have Fords, we have Internationals, we have Sterlings. we
So
have-
it's really impossible to get that kind of
Yes.
consistency.
So the trucks that are available now are Kenworth and a what?
One Kenworth.
Two Freightliners, one Kenworth.
And if you could only buy one, you'd buy one.
If I could only buy one, it'd most likely be the Kenworth, so I could match up with what I have.
If you could buy two, would you buy two Freightliners? or
I would
buy
buy
one
the two
of each?
Freightliners in because I would have two that I could match up with
It's
parts.
because you're matching parts, not because difference in quality.
Right.
Axles.
Oil changes, stuff like
Yeah,
that,
one
filter
would be-
requirements.
All right.
That's what I would have. Also spending this kind of money on trucks, if I had the luxury of building a truck, I wanted to introduce something where you have a hook lift truck. Now I can make that truck do anything.
Well, that's what, when I talk about your wish list,
This is a wish
you
list.
need to
We're
put
not
together,
talking about
what is
wish
it
lists.
I really want when I have the time? Right now, I don't have the time. But we can't delay, we need the wish list for next year
This
because,
could be next year.
right, because these two we need now. Wish list, because it takes a year and a half to build. We
Mhm.
need to know what that wish list is now also.
Yes.
In January, right.
Mhm.
It's not something we can delay.
They give a discount for two with cash?
I haven't discussed financing with any of
He
them.
asked me, I'm
Right.
thinking.
The way we were looking at it originally was the way that the Kenworths were purchased off of a lease, I think,
It's a lease.
is how it was
Lease.
done, where one or two
Right.
payments each year,
Right.
Yes.
along those lines, the same as this instead of a.
Yes,
one-time,
well,
whatever,
that would
but
make,
that's
that
finance's
would make
choice.
some sense, that would smooth out the problem initially.
Why don't we
if
look
to
into
do
the
it.
repair piece first? Obviously, we could talk tomorrow in our meeting about the new trucks, but I think more importantly, we need to discuss what it's gonna cost to sub the repairs out. You're admitting there's no way you're, as one mechanic, you're able to get this done.
No.
So I think we need to get a dollar amount, maybe if you could hustle a little tomorrow, get some, I know they can't be definitive with a number, but
Mhm.
maybe get a rough idea, 20 grand or whatever it may be, because
I agree.
this is important.
I agree, because what we want to do, I think, at least to look at options, since we're talking $320,000, maybe we go into at least a purchase arrangement on those two trucks. And then we look at how do we get that loader in a position where I would be quite concerned that you'd be shoveling salt into trucks if we can't.
Yes.
And that's an integral piece.
Yes,
That's more important than the trucks,
Yeah,
actually.
that's what I'm thinking. If you're making choices, if we can do some sort of lease arrangement like they do with the police cars, where you have a longer term, well, then you need to start looking at, then we can look at year by year out through this 5-year plan, replacing additional ones on a regular basis, just like we are doing with the police cars.
Who do I have a salesman come talk to?
Well, I tell you what, I think that what we need to do is to do the following. We need to get some numbers, we need to get some options. And the mayor and I can sit down and discuss all of this, because I think we need to try to get it into the plan for the budget, okay? Bottom line.
You want a rough idea for all of the trucks that are out of service, cost of repairs?
We want to, the essential
Like truck 7,
costs,
truck 2?
you need to show us which trucks are likely to be able to be repaired by winter, what the cost is gonna be if we job it out. As Nick was saying, it's a perfectly good idea. And then what you need to do, and we need to invest so that we're not just at the limit all the time
Right.
with these vehicles, because if one breaks, then we're all running up against the wall.
And 3 of them are hauling leaf machines too at the same
John,
time.
I
Well,
would-
yes.
I think too, though, all the trucks that we're not going to be repairing, get them out of here and sell them on .gov or whatever you gotta sell them
I
on.
agree
Well, that's why we
Get-
went with the
Get-
trade-in value
get
first,
rid-
wanted to see, because that gives you a
Right.
starting point, maybe GovDeal you can get more.
You know, and then whatever, that's what I would do, is get rid of all these trucks that you're not gonna repair, they're just sitting around. The longer you keep them, you're not gonna get that much out of them. Get
And
rid of
truck
them
4
now.
is the only truck that we
That's
feel
my
that
opinion.
repair,
All right, I
if we,
agree with
but
you.
that's not guaranteed we can get the dash.
No, I understand that,
but if
but
we
still,
could,
I mean,
then-
it's still, get them out there, get pictures of them and get them out of here.
So we've got, do we have some assignments that are clear? We
Yes.
need to- Okay.
And
Then
50.
what we need to do is get that as soon as we can, and the mayor and I will discuss this then after you get the information to him. And we will try to get something integrated into our plan for this, if we can get clear numbers no later than the last meeting in August here, which would be our second meeting.
Larry, you okay with what we're asking for your employees?
Hey, Bob, if you could get some pricing on that, those Western Star trucks, just out of curiosity, let's see what they are.
We went down to a equipment show at American Road Machinery, and we looked at some of them down there. The Western Star dealer does have some. The only problem is they're at Wapakoneta, Ohio,
Right.
which is down by Dayton. And it's,
Well, yes, absolutely.
That's where our Sterling's coming from.
Neil Armstrong's hometown. I don't-
yes, but that's,
$60,000 you're asking for fleet intentionally. Is that money that's being used for the repairs that you've mentioned already, or these are additional?
No, these are additional, like, I said, I don't have a crystal ball, what's gonna go next?
So that-
Trying to make it
that's
so
what-
so nothing has to be on weight, and plus with our leaf machines that are on current.
Okay, so that has nothing to do with the additional?
No, no.
So we need to have some priorities set on this after we can get some numbers. And it sounds like the loader would be a danger if it went out. It would be very bad.
yes.
The issue with the leaf trucks, we do have options there. We can contract that if we absolutely have to. And I don't want to, but, you know, last year, we basically didn't have pickups until it was impossible to do anything.
We had a leaf star.
My concern with some of the equipment right now is I have to use 3 trucks to pull around the leaf machines.
I see.
Those 3 trucks are not set up for snow removal at that time.
Okay.
Those trucks have to come in, have the trailers unhooked off of them, and be set
I
up for snow
understand.
equipment before they can go out and do any of that
I get
work.
you, yes.
Okay, okay. And that was the luxury of having a couple older trucks.
That could do the
Yeah.
job. Now,
Yes.
the other option would be to see if there's anything on .gov that would allow us to do that. If anybody's got anything that isn't trashed up like what we're gonna sell. Just so we
I don't know what
can,
you're getting. Yeah.
hey, we got a bunch of junk here, let's see if we
Look at the
can.
5-year plan that we have.
Yes.
Can you quickly, we'll take this and tell us if any of it was done?
Yeah, yeah.
Not
they're-
now, but just, you
Okay,
know.
I mean,
update
there can
and
be a
say,
highlight.
yeah,
There
this
have
was
been big
done.
trucks that have been replaced.
Okay.
There have been some pickups to our needs.
Right,
There-
'cause,
But
you
like I
know-
said, we tried to extend lives of other ones.
Right,
Mhm.
but if you could
And-
just show what was replaced, what hasn't been
Right
replaced.
off the bat,
Yeah.
3 1980 trucks were replaced.
Yeah, right.
We used to do this every year, so.
Yeah, at any rate, I appreciate everybody coming in. And does anybody else have anything that? you
Tom,
need?
did you have anything, was there anything in your parks?
No.
Did they get it all?
We're just gonna get this stuff
This is
right
just
now,
snow
and then we'll
removal.
go from there.
All right.
John
Snow
and Bob,
removal's
good
number one.
job.
Yes, thank you very much.
Nice.
We plan on adding to this, we will make a complete inventory
Right.
list of everything we have.
Well, I
This was
appreciate it.
just,
Yeah, I understand.
We'd be here
That's
till-
fine.
Hey, the
Next Tuesday.
insurance needs that inventory list too, by the way.
what?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Well, that's a service department problem.
Well,
I hate when we
Yeah.
do these things for nothing.
we can make a form similar and change it. Some of those are some of the older trucks that we've already replaced, we can update it.
And you create the sheet, the spreadsheet to run. Thank you.
I think I did talk to you.
Thank you. Really, thank you. How's it? Thank you.
I'm gonna show him, so he's just gonna go. This next week, but that's what it's all. So for
Here's something else that we didn't get much. Every year we get something. There's usually a couple of brand new additional stuff that I have.
Yeah, I'd like to come back up there, so let me see, man. Good to see you. Talk to Ross.
$3,000. You've got the newest technology coming. I want to educate.
And this guy,
Yeah,
he should be part of it.
I see him at
Not with me.
I want to talk with him too.
Or anyone else, he's the one, and that's why when I say you wish this,
Here's something he said. I didn't even get into this. I've had a discussion with him before. Our trucks, the safety lighting, does not meet the specifications by law that we're supposed to meet. At a rough quote, which I can put down, at $25,000 to bring the thing up to
you're telling me like the rest of us.
You ought to start, you ought to get into the NOSDA.
It's a little
Start
things.
all that. Maybe talk to them.
You might have a whole.
Association, yeah.
It's actually pretty good. Rob actually wrote it. Yeah, he's a big time. Yeah, you ought to get on. All you gotta do is sign up.
Because
Send you a
there's
thing,
no real
it's a
way.
free lunch
I
once a
said,
month.
well, we
Yeah,
have.
vendors
You
on
gotta
their
read
trucks and
this.
do that. You gotta go. That's.
Talk about.
I mean, I know what that's.
My dad used to work for Great Hawk, used to make those. But I know nothing about this stuff. And Wapak, I think Wapak.
We do it in Spain when we're doing.
Yes.
We have relatives.
We send it out with North America. Little paper. It's all paper. It's a Leroy B150, whatever, but we rent the roller.
I'm seriously afraid we're not doing it.
We may be able to shut it down. Find a new snow pole.
We just bought a new match trailer.
And that's,
I just, but I hear you saying, I got two
Really,
dollars.
I'll tell you what, you know how you get the little.
Yes.
Minimal.
You guys are on the league.
That's my maintenance.
This is nice. We paid 50 grand for it.
I have, I
But
completely.
that was a price of that in.
I can go through some of this. Coming up, right?
Okay.
In 2020,
that again if we could, you know?
Hey, John. So that future thing, they kind
I
of,
just walked every.
same thing, maybe a little bit less,
Yeah, I can go to now, I got my surgery, you know?
okay.
Yeah. I've got, I had a stitch cartilage.
But
Yeah,
if you look into this here, even.
I'm trying my muscles and stuff like that.
Wonderful job.
I can't, I'm saving a little weight, I'm first getting that snag. No, nothing. So I get the stitches out tomorrow, so. Just gotta wear this. Yeah, no press. I saw him when I was in high school sometimes, I can't remember, but he had me on file. I called, I like Mason myself, I don't know who Dr. Mason is. He's done my shoulder 3 times, perfect. I called, I couldn't get enough, here's something else. So my wife found him.
This is what we want.
This guy has open appointments on call, I'm kind of worried.
It says, call today for an appointment.
Yeah, right.
Commercial. Doesn't say call today, get your knees covered.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, what is the date? I gotta look through the emails.
Yeah, I got it. So I have it.
Did you text it to me?
I did.
Oh, then I have it.
The underbelly was.
I don't know if I have your text anymore because I changed phones.
That's what I'm thinking.
You have to take a risk.
Oh, that's, I think I have my calendar, the date of the meeting.
So you know exactly when that's all started.
It's a pretty, I mean, your presentation will, get down a little bit, you know, but it's,
August 18th.
yeah, September.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that
Tuesday
one.
night.
So,
Oh, because of my knee.
so I don't.
I'm sorry, when's the next one?
No, it's the 18th coming up.
That's how I'm pulling my hair out. See how I told you?
Today's the 12th.
Yeah, you're right, I'm sorry.
So, yeah, next week.
At what time? Is it, you just have the day?
7, yeah, I'll reconfirm with you that, because I think,
Okay.
it's at, you know, I think we maybe started at 6:30.
Okay.
I'll
Well, I'm
check.
staying here anyways.
I'll double check, because we had the one meeting at 7, then we started saying, okay, because either people come at 6:30 or 7:30. Our committee went from, I think it started like 11 down to like 8, down to like 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some people just because they couldn't make it.
Well, it's just someone made a comment. You know, not just gonna get a comment. It's a future, it's planning, it's not, you know, today.
It's right. Read about it.
Exactly.
North Ridge.
Where do you meet at?
Downstairs.
Oh, in the community room? Okay. All right, no problem. I'll make sure I stay here that day.
I'll text you during the day.
Well, you wanted to get to the mail?
Yeah, I mean, just about kind of like, this is new stuff, right? It's sad, it's just that, you guys didn't do this presentation every year. This is,
This is our first time doing this, I don't know. I mean, it's, I mean, they have it passed, but I don't know how they do it. You know, first time.
That's supposed to be
One big building,
year.
2 doors. When you go in,
This year,
one
it's
door.
more, so you get, so you won't run into the, every
there's
single
all-
Yeah,
truck.
well, you come up with some comprehensive, you're planning ahead for it, and the funds are
There's
there.
a luxury together. We can get the thing to do the payment.
Right.
Hey, this year,
Yeah,
we all have
but you have an overhead.
You get a little bit to do, okay?
Yes.
Hello. Nice to meet you. I'm up and let you talk. That stuff is so good to me.
Okay.
And how it just scrolls on your tongue, like, oh, you insist, and it's that. The setback to every truck, it's like, oh, man.
Man, look what that Gary had.
So
So it's like,
I understand, but it's just how easy it comes off your,
where do I tell Greg
I
about
take
that?
the mechanical.
Yes, I've 26 years now, and so,
Man, where do I tell Greg about the automatic? He's gonna want
hold on a second. You have a copy of the literature in the back.
Well, I'm gonna show him, and he's gonna go, oh, that is so awesome.
Possibly if we get a hold of one of the girls upstairs, I'd like to be able to keep this like this.
I have it in email. What are we gonna have to do? If I get it to send, it was too big that I couldn't get it to send.
John, but here, this is the other loop setup.
That's on the truck. Can they do it on
They can do it on anything, they can do it on backhoes, they can do it on Gradle, they can do it on skid steers.
Yes.
You want your own private
Greg's
vehicle?
Nissan Xterra.
The only problem is how many replays.
With our son, who came out.
Okay.
So it's there, they got to take a road. It's more rustic, we just, we can. You know who I go to for?
Preschool.
Let's say it's when I listen to you talk about the lights and
So I think we should do it, and I think that's it. We need to start.
So we gotta go through the lines.
Just pick the train.
Well, you're smart, that's
No, he's not. He took pictures. And I love it because he goes, this is what if it's Jesus.
Okay.
I don't know.
I've run into that before with my wife's aunt. They gave a big doom and gloom about her seal on her car, this, and this.
Powers Chewing Company. I bought a $4 bottle of stuff that you dumped in it. A week later, the leak stopped. I never, and she's an older
Sounds like a
woman.
plan.
What really aggravates me
Yeah.
is my daughter's. But I love Ray. Ray being man.
Mr. Rawls, thank you, good job.
Thank you.
Ray. You stick your head. You're good. Okay, so you have to answer that. Do you have